Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Happy Tuesday. If it's Tuesday, that means it's time for real estate questions and answers. And today we're going to be talking about pricing. So I've had several people tell me, you've been giving a lot of love to the buyers. How come you're not doing anything for the sellers? So today we're going to answer the question about how do I figure out what my house will sell for? But before we do that, the reason that I do this, my name is Joe Hafner. I'm with Hafner Real Estate. And I've been in this business almost 25 years. And I find that a lot of my clients that I work with, they'll ask the same questions and I give the same explanations on a regular basis. And that's great. I love educating my clients, but I thought if I could put this out to a broader audience, my goal is to help people achieve their real estate goals. So if I can help you achieve your real estate goal by giving you some information that maybe you wouldn't have had without this, then I've accomplished my task. So whether you work with me or work with somebody else, I want to help you to do a better job buying and selling real estate and do a better job with your investments in real estate. So before we get started, I just want to ask two favors. Number one, if this is info that you find helpful, go and like us at Hafner Real Estate. There's a link right on the post here to my company page, and like us there. That'll help us to get this out to more people. And if you do like it, show us you care and give us a share. Just share it on your wall, tag somebody in the comments who you think would benefit from the information. Do whatever you need to help people understand, because the more we get this out there, the better it's going to be for everybody who's looking to buy or sell real estate. So today's question is, how do I figure out what my home will sell for? Okay, so like I said here when I had my little board up at the beginning, we're going to talk about today how to price your home to sell and to close, because those can sometimes be two different things. Pricing can be a very tricky thing, okay? So pricing your home, the price that someone will give for your home, what your home is worth, that's what a lot of people talk about. What is my home worth? Well, your home is worth whatever a willing buyer is willing to pay for that home. And the market ultimately decides what it's worth. Me as an agent, an appraiser, anybody who's figuring out valuations, we don't know what it's worth. We don't know what it's worth till we put it on the market and we see whether or not someone buys it. So when you're pricing the home, there's really two groups that you need to price it for, that you have to sell it to. Number one, you got to sell it to the buyers who are out there. Right now, we're fortunate that we are in well, if you're selling your home, you're fortunate. If you're buying your home, maybe not so much. But we're fortunate that we are in a very strong seller's market, which means that if you are selling your home, if you get it in the right condition and you price it correctly, the odds are extremely high that you will get multiple offers on that house. As long as you're under, say in Rutherford County, Tennessee, if you're under 285, 300, and you've priced that home right and it's in good condition, the odds are high that you will have multiple offers. And that's because there's lots and lots of buyers out there and not many sellers. So that tends to push up the values. So it's kind of easy to get a higher price for your house, but then here's the second part of the equation. Number one, yeah, you price it at a point where you can get those buyers to come and see it, make you an offer. But let's say that you push it a little bit too high and you're lucky enough to get a buyer who pays, higher than what you hope to get. Well, now the second person that you have to sell it to in most cases, because most of the houses that sell in Middle Tennessee are sold with financing of some sort. So that means that bank is going to get an appraiser involved in the sale at that point. So even though you and the buyer have agreed on a price, let's say you and the buyer have agreed you're going to sell that house for $300,000. Well, now the bank who's financing that buyer is going to say, is that house really worth $300,000? We need someone looking out for us to go give us their opinion of the value of that house. And then what that's going to do is that's going to allow the bank to know that the house isn't wildly overpriced or the buyer isn't wildly overpaying for that house, because the bank is looking out for themselves. If that buyer were to be foreclosed, the bank wants to know that the house is worth somewhere close to what they lent, to the value they gave to that buyer before they made the loan. So that's where the appraiser comes in. So what an appraiser, a lot of people have this misconception that when an appraiser says the value of the house is, that's what it's worth. The opinion of value and what it's worth are two totally different things. So that appraiser, that's one person's opinion of value of the house, okay? One person's opinion. Just like as an agent, if I go out there with my 20+ years experience and help you figure out what we think your house would sell for, that's my opinion of what that house is worth. So don't get caught up in this idea that the appraiser is infallible and what he says, that's what the house is worth. And that's something we'll talk about appraisals on another day. But here, I have a little drawing here, my wonderful drawing skills. You can see that, right? This is the market, right? So the market is like a pond where there's houses and there's buyers. So the buyers are the little fish, the houses are in there on the market. So this is a little description that will help you see how pricing your house right is so important. A lot of people make the mistake of saying, oh, I want to price my house a little bit higher so I have room to negotiate, because if I can't negotiate, you know, I need that room in there. So here's the danger of that, right? So when in the market, see the fish here are the buyers. So if you have a bunch of fish swimming around the market, so the market right now, especially right now, because so few houses are hitting the market, we have an inventory shortage. There are tons of buyers in the marketplace looking for different types of houses, different price ranges, different locations, whatever kind of market you can think of, there's a group of buyers probably looking in that area. So let's say that you're looking for a house price, your house is going to be between $250,000 and $300,000 when it goes on the market. And there's a group of buyers, a lot of them who have lost out on a bunch of other houses who are in the market already that are looking for that. That is the largest portion of people that you could get to see your house, is that group of buyers already in the market. So let's say you take your house, right? You got your house right here. And when that house goes into the water, into the market, you've now tossed it in there. So what happens is when that house hits the market, all of the fish, all the buyers that are in the market for a house like yours, they all come to look at it. They'll look at it online on the MLS, their agent will show it to them, but they will look at it in some form, and they're going to assess that house, whether or not it's worth their time, whether or not it's worth going to see in person. So you put that house in there, you have all those people coming to see it. Well, let's say you made the mistake of overpricing that house because you needed a little room to go ahead and have some negotiating room. Well, when all those fish come to see it and they realize that you are way higher than what other houses similar to yours are selling for in the marketplace, they look at it a little while, maybe one or two of them come to look at it in person, and then they all swim away. And now your house is just sitting there floating in the water, and you're waiting for the next fish to come in, right? And even if you were to lower the price of your house after the fact, most of those fish who have already seen it, they are not going to come see it again. And then here's what happens. Your house sinks to the bottom and it becomes part of it goes on the discount rack, right? Have you ever been to Walmart where they have the big rack of the new DVD releases, right? So you go into Walmart, you want, what's the big one? I'm so popular culture inept at the moment, but let's say, I think it's the Avengers. So you have this movie about the Avengers and it comes out on DVD. You go into Walmart, they've got a wall full of them, and you go in there and you're willing to pay $20, $30 for that DVD because that is a premium DVD that just came out and you really want it, right? So that's what your house is when it first hits the market. It is a premium product that lots of people want to see, and there's a lot of excitement about it because it's hitting the market and there's buyers looking for a house like yours. Well, if there's a problem with the condition of the house or you've overpriced it, that house and all those buyers go away. Well, now you end up in, have you ever seen the big giant wire racks of old DVDs that didn't sell at Walmart and they're priced at $5 or $10? And people go in there. I know when I go in there, I'm looking through that rack, something that maybe a month ago I would have spent $20 or $30 for because I would have been excited about it then. Now I'm picking up and saying, do I really want to spend $5 on this thing? And I toss it back in the rack and I move on. That's what happens when you don't price your house right and it sits on the market. Your house ends up in the bargain bin and bargain shoppers come over there looking at it, and bargain shoppers are not willing to pay a market rate. So you end up with a low, because you priced it too high, you actually end up selling it for less than you would have had you priced it right. So that's kind of a little bit of an overview of the key to pricing it. And then one other thing to kind of keep in mind, there are levels of dollar amounts that buyers kind of use as a point they don't go above or they don't go below. And usually those are big numbers like 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, and maybe to a lesser extent 250, 350, 450, that sort of thing. So when your house is right near one of those levels, by just going down slightly below the level, you open up the door to many, many, many more buyers looking at your house. Let's say that you think your house is worth 305. Well, if you price it at 305, all the people looking at 300 and below are not going to even see your house because they've kind of set their limit at 300. So when they do their searches, everything above 300 is not going in front of them. So sometimes, and this is a case-by-case basis, and need to talk to your agent or let me know. I'm happy to talk it over with you. But on a case-by-case basis, if your house is worth 305 and you actually price it at 299.9, so you're just under that threshold there, most of the time, especially in a seller's market like we're in now, that will push your price up so that you will end up getting a better price for your house pricing it at 299 than you ever would have pricing it at 305. I know it's kind of counterintuitive, but if you just realize how the behaviors of buyers and how they look at property, you always want to be just below that threshold instead of just above it. Because in Rutherford County, especially, the 250 threshold and the 300 threshold, those are, hey, April, how are you doing today? Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, let me know. So that threshold, 250 and 300 in Rutherford County, those are just key thresholds that there are tons of people below it and a fraction of the number of people above it. So those are some things to keep in mind when you're pricing your home. Of course, hey Cole, how you doing today? If you have any questions, or if I can help you figure out, get an idea of what your home would likely sell for, I'd be happy to help you. But again, do me a favor, go to Hafner Real Estate and like us on Facebook. And like I said, show you care and give us a share. Share this with people who you think would benefit from it. Share it on your page if you think it's valuable info. And we'll be back on Thursday. Hey, Cole, how's it going today? Thanks for joining us. So I will see you on Thursday. If you have some questions, put them in the comments section. I'll be coming back through here and answering questions later, or private message me a question if you want me to answer it on Thursday. Hope you have a great day and look forward to seeing you again on Thursday. Thanks.